Hip-hop is a genre that fuels a whole lot of wild conspiracies, but one keeps popping back up time and time again: cloning. Several prominent rappers have been the subject of a cloning conspiracy after serving a prison sentence and coming out looking and acting slightly different. Here's a look at some of the most famous rappers who've allegedly been experimented on by the government and later released to the public as clones. Kodak Black. Kodak is one of the hottest young rappers in the game. Although his career has been slowed down because of frequent legal drama, he's maintained his relevance for the past 5 years by being an authentic street artist who stays true to his roots. But during his most recent prison stay, Kodak was at the center of a cloning conspiracy after a jail photo of the rapper surfaced online. Kodak has been getting in trouble with the law since he was just a kid. He was raised by a single mother in a rough part of Pompano Beach, Florida, and used to record music at a local trap house in elementary school. Growing up, he was placed into a youth detention center 3 times in 1 year and eventually released on probation. He's been arrested multiple times for drug and gun possession and has been in and out of prison since he was in middle school. In 2019, Kodak was arrested for weapons possession after being detained at the Canadian-American border. Although he purchased a gun legally, Kodak is a convicted felon and not legally allowed to own a firearm. He lied about his criminal history to obtain the gun, and after he was arrested, he was hit with not only a weapons charge, but also caught a charge for lying on a government document. He was originally sentenced to 4 years in federal prison, but on his last day in office, President Donald J. Trump pardoned Kodak, and he was released in January 2021. Check out our video on rappers' pardon of their crimes for more info on this case. But while in prison, fans began to speculate that Kodak was the government's newest experiment, and his sudden release only added fuel to the fire. The rumors began after a jail photo of Kodak was released online while he was still locked up. Fans claimed that his features looked different in the jail photo than they did in previous pictures of the artist. They claimed his nose was smaller, ears were bigger, lips thinner, and his eyes were a different shape. Although he does appear to look different in the newer photo, he was also in prison, which adds a lot of stress to a person, and it appears like he gained some weight. Plus, the camera being used to take the picture probably wasn't of the highest quality and could explain some of the minor differences. The rumors died down for a while, but after Kodak was pardoned in January and came home with a whole new look, fans went crazy, and the rumors started up again. Kodak came out looking much skinnier and even had a new face tattoo. Where he used to have a large cross tattoo in the middle of his forehead, he now has a tattoo of what looks like an eagle. Fans have also claimed that his nose looks different than when it did when he went in.
So, we not gonna act like Kodak is not a clone. Look at his nose. They do not look the same.
That's a different nose.
That's a different nose. This is not the same Kodak.
No one has been able to give an explanation of why the government or other agency chooses to clone rappers and release them into the general public, but that hasn't stopped the wild allegations. At first, Kodak was taking it all in stride and just happy to be home. But eventually, the old Kodak came back and he started lashing out on social media after fans were annoying him with the cloning rumors.
Why this don't sound like Kodak? What the hell? So who I sound like? All this little cloning shit starting to make me mad, you know what I'm saying? All kind of niggas be trying to imitate this shit, but they can't duplicate this shit. All these fuck niggas ain't seen yet. They know that. That's why they was mad that I came home. All these niggas was scared for me to come home, man. These niggas trying to pick up all the money. I ain't trying to bitch. Everybody could make money. Everybody could do this shit. I don't give a fuck about you niggas, man.
So if this new version really is a clone, he does a great impression of the Project Baby rapper. But Kodak isn't the only rapper to face cloning rumors. This next artist spent 3 years behind bars and came home 100 pounds skinnier, looking like an entirely new person. Sounds like a clone to me. Let me know what you think. Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane is a hip-hop legend and one of the godfathers of trap music. Today, Gucci's a beloved rap veteran who's using his A&R skills to help up-and-coming artists shape their careers. However, at one point, Gucci was one of the wildest figures in hip-hop and led a lifestyle that's totally different than the artist fans know today. His transformation came during a 3-year prison sentence he served between 2013 and 2016, which led fans to speculate that he must be a clone. Gucci has always been known as a genuine rapper who had frequent legal troubles throughout his early career. In 2005, he was arrested for killing a man who was sent to murder him by his rival Young Jeezy, but was later acquitted on self-defense. Check out our video on rappers who are ready for OPPS to learn more about this incident. He was arrested twice in 2011 for battery and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which resulted in a 6-month sentence. In 2013, he was arrested again after 2 fans claimed that Gucci assaulted them in 2 separate incidents. One claims that Gucci hit him with a bottle after asking a security guard if he could take a picture with them, and the other says Gucci punched him in the face for trying to shake his hand. He turned himself in and was released on bond, only to get arrested for probation violations not long after. He was released, but arrested again not long after when a friend he was hanging out with called the cops because Gucci was acting crazy. Police showed up, and he began cursing them out and threatening them. They arrested him and found marijuana and a loaded handgun in his possession. All of these lesser charges added up, and when Gucci eventually pled guilty to possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. He served his time in the U.S. Penitentiary in Terre Haute, Indiana, and was released in May 2016. Fans were shocked by his new appearance, which is what initiated the cloning rumors. When Gucci went into jail, he weighed about 290 pounds and had a major gut from drinking so much lean. After getting out of jail, he was extremely fit and weighed around 190 pounds. This led fans to assume that the government had kidnapped the real Gucci and replaced him with a cheap look-alike. But it wasn't the physical transformation that made fans speculate that he was a clone. It was also his personality. The old Gucci was a heavy drug user who often mumbled when he spoke and was known for being smart, yet often vicious and aggressive. This new Gucci was much more patient and articulate and didn't have the same kind of wild energy that fans were used to. Gucci claims that his transformation was thanks to his decision to get off drugs and focus on a cleaner, healthier lifestyle. But that didn't stop the rumors. The artist even played up the clone rumors in his video for the song First Day Out the Feds, where Gucci can be seen rapping along several other copies of himself. He continued to play up the cloning rumors on social media, showing that he clearly wasn't bothered by the accusations.
I'm hearing that Gucci is a clone. I wouldn't even support or deny those accusations.
There was even a wild accusation that Lil Boosie went on the Breakfast Club and claimed that the new Gucci was a totally different person and called him Herman after a show. However, this turned out to be just an internet rumor, and there's no evidence of this conversation taking place. Eventually, fans seemed to get tired and move on. For a while, many die-hard Gucci fans thought that their favorite artist had been kidnapped and replaced by an imposter. But Gucci isn't the only Zone 6 rapper to face cloning rumors. This next rapper shocked the world when it was revealed that he wasn't a street rapper from Atlanta, but a clone from the UK. Let's get right into it. 21 Savage. 21 Savage is one of the hottest young artists in the rap game and has released several Billboard chart-topping hits in the past few years. But after the artist was arrested in February 2019 on immigration charges, rumors began to circulate that the person that returned was not 21, but a cheap clone sent to replace him. 21 Savage is one of the most respected street rappers currently making music. He grew up in the Zone 6 neighborhood of Atlanta and was a well-known figure in his neighborhood coming up. He's described the struggles he went through in the streets in songs and interviews, including losing his brother and 2 friends to gun violence, and getting shot 6 times in a drug deal gone wrong. His music is full of pain and authenticity, which has gained him the respect of many hip-hop critics and fans. But after a shocking revelation came to light after he was arrested on immigration charges, fans began to question whether his entire persona was a gimmick and he was not the genuine street artist he claimed to be. On February 3rd, 2019, Savage was taken into custody by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement after being pulled over by authorities while driving with his cousin, another popular rapper named Young Nudy, and 2 other men. Police have been targeting Nudy and the 2 other men in a sting that stemmed from aggravated assault charges and a violation of the Georgia Gang Act. Savage was arrested by Cyhi because he's actually a British national living in the US illegally. This revelation shocked fans, and a flood of memes joking about the artist's nationality hit the internet. Initially, Cyhi claimed that Savage was not the person he portrayed himself to be and that his whole musical persona was a lie. However, the truth was a bit more understandable. Savage was born in London to Caribbean parents, but his parents separated when he was young and he moved with his mother to Atlanta when he was 7. He returned to the UK when he was 12 to attend his uncle's funeral and eventually came back to the US on an H-4 visa that expired in 2006. After that, he continued to live in the US illegally, somehow escaping immigration for 13 years. Savage was later released, but could still potentially face deportation. After he was released, he did an interview that led many to speculate that he may actually be a British clone. He sat down with ABC News to dispel many rumors about the arrest. In the interview, he was rocking an entirely new look, complete with clear gold-rimmed glasses. He comes off as a much calmer and more mild manner than the normal 21 Savage fans are used to. This led many fans to speculate that this was not the real Savage, but a British clone sent to take his place. Even though Savage is now a free man and still living in the US, he still faces the threat of deportation and a potential 10-year ban for staying here for so long on an expired visa. He has plenty of money to fight the case, but it may be a difficult legal battle. So if he is a clone, they should send the copy back to the UK and keep the real Savage right here in the US.